Here we are at the safety hole over in New Harbour, and I'm talking to Vonda. Hi Vonda, tell us what your role is here with the team at New Harbour.
Well, I'm the PI, which stands for Principal Investigator, so I'm kind of running this Antarctic expedition this season.
Great. What have you been doing here at New Harbour with your experimentation?
Well, as you already know, there's a bunch of divers, and we're doing all sorts of things on the seafloor. We're trying to understand how things work in Antarctica where it's really, really cold, and then understand better how things might change if the ice melts with global warming and things like that.
So specifically, what have you been looking at with under the water here?
Well, I think Drew's already talked about his chamber experiments, which is looking at how seafloor animals use different food, and we're also doing surveys so we can see what kinds of animals are actually down on the seafloor and how many of them there are, and we're taking all sorts of samples of different animals so that we can see what they're eating and see how the food chain all interacts, what eats what. And we're also doing some work on ocean acidification, so we're trying to understand how these different animals might respond if the oceans become a little bit more acidic in the future.
Right, and have you noticed much difference with here and further up the coast where you went last year?
Yeah, down here it's a very different kind of seafloor. It's quite a sandy, flat bottom compared to further north, where there's lots of rock and a lot more sponges and soft corals and things. And down here there are scallops and quite a few little fish that hang around down the bottom, and lots of ophiuroids as well. So it's a bit of a more like a really deep sea environment in New Harbour than the other places that we've been further north.
Right, and you've done quite a lot of work with the scallops. The guys are today collecting scallops for you to take back to New Zealand. What are you going to do with those?
Yeah, I'm going to take them back to Wellington, and I'm going to put them in this special lab where we've made the water really cold, and we're going to manipulate the water and make some of it more acidic than the natural seawater in Antarctica, and just look at how that affects the growth of the scallops and how that affects how they use energy and that kind of thing, just so that we can see whether or not they're likely to be able to adapt and cope with changes in the seawater chemistry in the future.
That sounds like pretty important work. Hey, thank you for explaining all that. That's fantastic. And you're enjoying it here?
It's fantastic. We're very, very lucky to get to work in such an awesome place.
As we are.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vonda.
Okay.